tonight's program is There She Blows, the Great Whale Explosion, LBI whale explosion in 1963. Now, the old days when the whale washed up on the shore and you had to do something to get rid of it, and people were going to come for summer and they didn't want a rotten whale laying around. So actually Tim's relatives are involved, and these were the days before trampolines, so blubber bouncing was something that was done, and Tim's relatives are in this video, so I'm going to turn it over to Tim.
Okay, so how does this connect to the Revolutionary War?
Yeah.
I don't know. So this is the key. So which way does the wind blow in a northeaster?
From the northeast.
This is not hard. I didn't say this was like college level. This is right, northeast. So it drives the thing. So whether they were ships coming over from Europe or whatever, that's why there are many more shipwrecks on the Jersey Shore than there are in New York, because they would use Long Island and Long Beach Island, Island Beach to come into New York, right? So when they would get in trouble at northeaster, it would blow ashore, and so it wasn't just. How do I make this stuff? What's the so this is before wind turbines, all that stuff. All right, so it's really February of '61 is really when this happened. So the story gets sort of buried, not the pun, but buried by the March of '62 storm. And so the essential part is the Long Beach Township, which now is worth, I think, $8 billion in rateables or some ridiculous thing. To save money, they put it out to bid, and they had two bids. One from a legitimate contractor who was going to pick it up and put it on a tractor trailer and take it to a landfill on the mainland. And then the second, that was about $3,500. The second bid was a man by the name of George Damon, who was arguably the best snake oil salesman in our town in Manahawkin, and he bid $1,500. So they got the bid, and they had to give him some money up front. So he goes over and he buys two things. He buys a chainsaw, and he buys a new Cadillac. And so they don't really match, right? So anyway, his first thing is that he has to cut the tail off, because everybody else who was going to do the project was going to lift the tail and put it on a tractor or dump truck and take it away. So that's his first goal. So let's see.
You're narrating this?
And it's about 4 blocks from the town hall. Let's get rid of this guy's voice.
What you are viewing in video format are some 8mm movies taken by my neighbor.
Okay, so this is Brant Beach. Everybody thought this was a great deal. My dad brought me over. I'm, let's see, I'm 6 years old. So that's my uncle and my cousin. And she is the authority on moths and orchids in the pinelands. Her name is Henry Woods. And they're having a lot of fun there. And they asked me to go on, and I said, no, I don't want to do that. And actually, my father said that I didn't want to do it. But anyway, here they are. And they're having lots of fun. And nice sunny days in the spring, fall, I guess, or winter, I guess you call it. And so that little girl. There's another little girl, happens to be Diane Gove. Her brother was a famous decoy carver, collector, seller, whatever you wanted. And she also ended up being an assembly person from Ocean County in the 9th District. I like that hat. The hat's, anyway, so here we are. This is the whale.
I guess this is before it started to smell.
That's the end of the story, right? Yes. It all has that point. The key of the whole thing is that when they finally do use the dynamite, the guy had this brilliant idea of using the dynamite. Well, dynamite's not his first choice. His first choice.
I'm going to stay there. So
Okay. The first choice was to just cut it up and throw it into the ocean, but then when he got the idea of dynamiting it, which sounded logical, although you can go on YouTube and you can see other whales that have been dynamited, and it got over all of the houses along the beach. So in those days, this is 56th Street, and my uncle lived on 44th Street, And he cursed and cursed because he had to go up on the roof of the house. It was a flat roof and take all the blubber off. But a lot of people didn't come down until 4th of July weekend in those days, right? So they would come down and they would, find this stuff. So apparently some of the oceanfront people had enough political pull that they got the boroughs. The area is, they're cutting this, and so what he did is he, we celebrate the piney culture in Ocean County. Anyway, and there's still people jumping on it even while he's doing that. Right? So apparently what he did, when it turns out the project didn't turn out, so he puts the blubber-filled chainsaw in the back of the Cadillac and takes it back over to the distributor and gives it back to him. And they really had trouble selling it because it was so permeated with it. So this is before the multi-million-dollar houses. As I said, it's a very middle-class person. So here they are. They've taken the tail. They're kind of chainsawing it off. But now no one else can do the job because he has made it so that they can't just use the tail to load it on the dump truck. Who in this room used to have one of these plaid jackets? Come on, you can admit it. I see plaid shirts here. What do you mean you might have plaid coats? I still have one. I like it. It's, but anyway. So of course, having the people right there must have really been pretty tense. So lots of blood. Yeah. So he tries. Here they are. So this is the game plan. Just take it out, let the surf take it out, let the sharks eat it or whatever, right? So there was, historically, and Jamie is much more of an expert on this, but there were whalers along the Jersey shore at one point. I don't think they did, but they certainly didn't have dynamite. They could have black powder. But anyway, yeah, so it's starting to... Plan A is not working here. I mean, look at the woman, they're in their Sunday coats. This was a big deal to go down and watch this thing. This was pretty neat. So this is just not working. When the tide comes back in, the pieces come back up. They smell really bad. I don't know, was this an eagle? Could you I think, what was that thing we used to have, the totem chip? What was that thing, that little card where you cut off the corners when you didn't use the thing properly, right?
You in there, Tim?
No, I came on a different day. So.
Did the butcher show up?
No, interestingly enough, you would think they would have maybe put in a lower bid, but I don't know how the chain holds up under the.
You think it's gonna be tough through that? Bones, right?
All right, now plan B. Okay. There you go. So, as the commentator says, that it's sort of like a blast mat, right? I mean, that blubber is really thick, and so it's just not doing very much. They did have the people stand back at least when they were using the dynamite.
Where are the seagulls?
They're smart enough to stay away.
Free food.
What was the range on the whale blubber?
It went blocks. Yeah, so this is 54th Street. My uncle lived on 44th Street, and it got on his roof, all over his roof. Big one goes up, has to come
blowing it
down,
up?
right? Huh?
Does he just keep detonating piece after
Well,
piece?
hey, if it doesn't work the first time, keep trying. At this point, the mayor and council are pretty embarrassed, but, so this gentleman was standing up there with his arm just went over, that's Dicko's dad, the doctor, and the girl on the left here is Diane, and they lived on like 47th Street or something.
Did
So
it,
they're-
did it get inside any houses?
Well, it tracked it in, I guess. You know, I don't think it was.
And the smell must have gotten.
It's at this point, it's a fine dust, right? I mean, it's like.
This is an example of how not to clean up a whale.
Yeah. They said, how could they go wrong? Because their theory was if the $1,500 guy didn't quite finish the job, they could use the remainder of the $3,500 and just have it carted away. I had no idea. I don't even know what kind of permits you'd have to today to set off dynamite like this. But,
We don't need no
Where'd they buy the dynamite?
I probably in the grocery store or something. I mean, you know, we were pretty backwards area in the early 60s. So,
But a hardware store, sitting on the shelf.
yeah, you know.
You got dynamite there, Mike?
Yeah. All right. Oh, and then I guess. Yeah. Well,
This is the office ceremony?
it's